So the reason I'm doing this video is because there are so many fantastic rat videos out there, and I never even thought about doing a rat video, but a lot of the things in the rat videos, our rats are having none of it. They're having absolutely none of it. So, truth is, when you have pet rats, I think we just all got to learn on our own. Watch all these rat care videos. They're amazing. I didn't have that back in the day. I used to do I had rats for a long time. I didn't know you couldn't put them in a tank. I didn't know you weren't supposed to use cedar. I didn't know all these things. But now I do. And so then with the knowledge I have, then I play around. However, there are some things from these rat care videos that I learned that were wrong. There was a rat care specifically page that suggested giving them Timothy hay and alfalfa. I found out that was really wrong. Thankfully, my rats were smart enough that they just go to the bathroom on it. This is their... This is a new cage. I'm still trying to figure out how to get things in and out. That was supposed to be food. That's their litter. Funny thing, I spent a bunch of money on this stuff because it's supposed to be good as litter. It was recommended. They won't touch it. They won't touch that stuff. They kick it all out of their litter box. It ends up all over the floor. It ends up everywhere. But they would go to the bathroom on this. Because I noticed anything that I try to give them as food that they refuse to touch, whether they don't like it, I'm convinced that they know things are toxic. They would put their bedding on it and go to the bathroom on top of it. This is so cool. Look how easy this is. It just hangs up on the wall. Boop. I'm so glad we got a new cage. The old cage was really hard to do stuff. Food. Something that's different about our rats. I can't get our rats to go near the only thing man-made I can get them to really eat, and they only will eat them every once in a while. They look like Fruity Pebbles, and they kind of look like dog food. And they kind of smell like dog food. I get these by the ounce, or by the pound, at a pet store. Okay? They'll eat those sometimes. Our rats get sick of things very fast. If I give them watermelon every day for 3 days, they won't touch watermelon for a month. It's true. The only thing they don't get sick of, look, I have lung issues. I'm sorry that I have to breathe heavy. The only thing they don't get sick of is peas. But they won't eat rat food. They won't even eat these wonderful mixtures. I made the little cup toy. I spent enough money on other stuff. I probably... Total took me a couple of bucks to make this. But inside is the mixture that I was so highly recommended. I saw it in multiple videos. This has chicken and rice dog food. It has sunflower seeds. This has coconut because I added coconut because they like coconut. But I put the coconut in there to get them to come into this. It has the dry spiral pasta. Sometimes they'll eat this. Usually they steal it. Well, Mr. Sir Edward Nibble steals it and hides it in the dirt and then never goes back to it again. This has the green lentils. It has Rice Krispie treats. It has oatmeal. I'm only closing it so I can transport it. Once I put it back in the cage, I open it again. I'll open it. It doesn't matter. They don't eat it anyways. They thankfully wouldn't go near the Katy pellets. They won't go near any pellets. They won't even touch them. They will go to the bathroom on them. What do they eat? My rats are so smart. They love broccoli. They love peas. They love green cabbage. You know, my rats will eat what I eat. Now here's something that I do feed them, and there might be somebody that says, oh my God, don't feed them that, you're going to murder them. This is why doing rat care videos is kind of like not always a good idea. So I have so much respect for people that do rat care videos because people are really judgmental sometimes. I've seen some hateful comments. This is what my rats have for breakfast every day. This is what I have for breakfast every day. Every morning, well, before we got this cage where they can't open the doors, because we had the open top you and me parrot cage, which they could open the doors. every morning I'd come downstairs, they'd open that door and just stand there and wait for their breakfast. So we have cereal for breakfast, and I sit right here at this table and we have our breakfast together. And I usually put their breakfast in this little bowl, and I set it on the table, and our table is usually pulled all the way up. So when I open this door, this bottom door rests right onto the table so they can come and go as they please. But I'm sitting right here. But you have to be careful so they don't fall off the table and all this. But they'll eat that. And every night between 5 and 6, they know it's time for dinner. And usually their dinner is a little bit, there's some greens, like there's always peas and there's always pasta. They love spaghetti noodles cooked. Mine are not a big fan of the spiral noodles cooked. They're not a big fan of the spiral noodles at all. They just like to play with them and hide them and, make a mess with them. But they love pine nuts. They love watermelon, cantaloupe, grapes. And I also add, I use the pine nuts for protein. I'll sometimes have a little shredded cheese, but it's better to make your own shredded cheese because the pre-bagged shredded cheese has all these stuff on it. Our rats won't touch it. My rats will eat shredded cheese I make, but they won't eat shredded cheese that comes in the bag pre-packaged. Watch out for things like pepper jack because they have peppers in them. One night I was eating gumbo, and my gumbo is all organic. It's all real healthy. And I'm sitting here, and one of the rats just comes over and doesn't even think twice. And I didn't. It happened so fast. And he did a swipe to eat it. Because anything pretty much I eat, they can eat. Because I have incredible sensitivities to preservatives. And he took a bite and he went, ah! And I was like, oh, because it was spicy. Live and learn. I felt so bad. But needless to say, he got all the watermelon he wanted for the rest of the day. He was fine. But now they don't come up and just eat right off my plate anymore. Now they look at me like, is this okay? My rats are really smart. I give them treats like this. I already did a video, and the video was too long. I had to delete it. But this is just toilet paper. I learned this from emiology. Toilet paper roll. And I put them in there. And the one I found in here this morning, they had torn it to shreds. So a lot of the toys that was suggested for playtime and tricks and stuff, I can't get my rats to do. But anyway, I really suggest these bins or something like this. I paid $5 a piece for these at a big box lumber shop. And what kind of stuff am I going to keep in these bins? That's a good question. They have a dig box. In their dig box, I hide birdseed and mealworms. I don't get this from the pet store. I get this from the grocery store. These dried mealworms, the ingredient on the back, right there. Oh, that was probably loud on the microphone. I'm sorry. It's just dried mealworms. This whole bag at the grocery store was $5. You go to a pet store and you get a little bitty bag of them, sometimes for $10, $15. It's crazy. Sunflower seeds. Whole bag. And I remember checking to make sure. Yeah, it's just black sunflower seeds is it. These are high fat. These are proteiny and fatty. Whole bag was like $6. Okay? These are rats. These are not squirrels. And their dig box. This is our dig box. It's nothing fancy. We used to have a really big one, and when I changed cages, we had to get rid of it. Okay? I use maybe that much every couple of days. I don't do any more than that because... And I do the same thing with the mealworms. Now, I've already added mealworms to this earlier. In this cage, I put the litter box up here, and somehow now they're exclusively using the litter box. They're not going to the bathroom anywhere else, except for like their dribble pee, because rats dribble pee. And that's why it's good to have. These are washcloths I lined. I lined with washcloths, and I use these from the Dollar Tree. I don't recommend these being on the inside of the cage. I do have one here on the inside of the cage, but it's under this thing, and they don't go here. But I had one over on the other side, and poor Marco didn't. Marco's the big boy. He's a big boy. He accidentally stepped on it, and it went like this, and it was like he was in the circus. I get my branches and sticks from our local cemetery that has a pecan tree. I helped out with forestry 4-H coaching, so I know a lot about trees. I'm just going to put it out of my mind that they can have maple trees, because some maple sticks they can't and some they can. But they'll chew on the pecan branches. They'll chew on that pecan branch before they'll chew on these homemade toys I made with stuff that I bought from the pet store. I bought this from the Dollar Tree. But I'm thinking they might chew on this. Just because they chew on something doesn't mean they're going to swallow it. again, they might be smarter than you think. I bought this at a pet store like 3 weeks ago. They haven't touched it. At this point, I think I need to throw it away. I'm afraid it's going to attract like roaches or something, you know. I got this coconut thing, and inside of it, the coconut thing was $10. I thought that was kind of expensive. But these are rat toys. Now, watch your rat toys. You don't want them if they have catnip in them. But in this little coconut thing, I put little shredded coconut, and I put some of those Fruity Pebbles looking little things. You see where they're sleeping. They're hanging out up there. But you see this expensive thing? You see that green, fuzzy, expensive thing? I was like, I'm going to break down and buy them a nice bed. They'll go in it for a second and they come out. They don't even like it. What we had before was I would cut up my husband's work pants and safety pin them to the corners. You can use safety pins, just be careful because you got to change them out because when they get pee and stuff on them and everything gets pee, it'll rust and they'll break. Can you see this? See this ladder? Okay, they play with it. But also, you'll see this ladder back here. Can you see that ladder? I made that ladder with cardboard and glue. I glued the little things on there. They love it. Even they don't climb up it anymore. They used to use it to get in and out of the dig box, but they use it as a chew toy. If you have enough things in there for them to chew on, they won't have any problems. Is there anything else? Okay. I learned this from Emiology. Thank you, Emiology, for teaching me so much. This is a pumice ledge, and above it is their water bottle. Because Sir Edward Nibbles, he's like Edward Scissorhands. He's like Freddy Krueger. And we both, myself and my child both have urticaria. We have something called the skin writing disease. My kid's is worse than mine. She's covered in rat scratches. I get them too. Mostly from Sir Edward Nibbles because he's like, cha, cha. He's like the Wolverine, right? So, and that looks like that's poop on there. It's actually not. It's dirt from the dig box because it gets everywhere. And they have a pool, okay? So the pool doesn't stay there because it gets gross. But this is from the Dollar Tree. I put clean water. I do not put chlorinated water in there ever. I use clean water. And I'll put a little bit, and I might put peas or something in there. My rats will not let me bathe them or even wipe them down. They freak out. I don't know what they went through before we got them, but there's some things that really terrify them. But then pea fishing will get them in the water, and then they, anyways, it cleans them up and cleans their tails and everything, But this pumice stone, by itself, they don't make these very well. They have these little screwbacks, and I had to still reinforce it with cardboard, both of them. But it was so heavy that it was bending the wire, so I reinforced it with another ledge that I had already had. I line these with just washcloths from the Dollar Tree. That way, if they go bad, or I might use some old clothes or something. My husband works really hard and his clothes tear up. This little basket up here, I finally replaced their Easter basket that was really gross. This is fine, but just check stuff to make sure there's nothing pokey. This whole beautiful cage, this cage is the Ware Indoor Hutch 4 level. This thing was almost $200. That was money I hadn't planned on spending on the rats. I had something I needed that money for, but that's okay. This fancy paint job, it had like hypodermic needles sticking out all over it because the paint dried and was spiky everywhere. Shame on these people. And I cut my hands up really bad putting this together. Also around the edges where the metal is cut, you can cut yourself, so be careful. So we had to go in with just a little bit of sandpaper. I went with sandpaper and just sanded everything down the best I could. But I had cuts all over my fingers, and I almost took it back. But this cage, the quality over a bird cage, my bird cage we had, the You and Me Parrot open top cage, it did us well, and I honored the time that we had with it. However, it was loud, it was squeaky, and they learned how to open the doors. When we had the other cage as well, I used this bedding because it was highly suggested. And it was very highly frowned upon using cedar. And I can understand why once I learned about it. Now, back in the day, when we used to have rats, because I didn't have rats for like 20 years, and then I go start learning about rats. Turns out we were doing everything wrong. Oops. But now we know. But again, some of the stuff that was suggested, our rats won't have anything to do with it. So, I gotta say, when I had rats when I was younger, I never had a rat die of illness. I don't know. And I hear a whole lot about all these rat illnesses that I didn't know a lot about. But with that stuff, I noticed that they were having the red around their nose a lot. And a video talked about, oh, that's just because they get that when they sleep. I'm sorry the lighting is changing. We're having weather outside, and the sun is kind of peeking in and out. But originally when we got these, I bought cedar. So I put the cedar away. Well, now with this new cage, gosh, this is so easy. This is so much easier than our other one. Our other one, the rats could open, but we couldn't. But this new cage, this tray goes this way. It just slides on out. It's a little bitty tray. And I do have cedar in there because they're not touching this. We've had them in here for 4 days now. And their noses, their respiratory's cleared up, even though they have cedar. Now, the bottom of this is something else. This is a wire grate at the bottom. I'll open this back up. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm probably making them nuts. There's a wire grate. And people are like, oh, you can't have it. It's dangerous. Y'all, I've worked for vets and pet stores and all kinds of stuff. And yes, animals can get caught in wire grates. But I looked at them. I looked at this for a while, and I was like, But I have these washcloths, these hand towels you can get them at the Dollar Tree. You can get them anywhere. It's a perfect size. It goes right on top of it. And yesterday, they'll come lay down here. They don't seem to have any problem with laying on the grate. There's a cushy blanket on top of it. So here's a big deal. When you have animals, you got to learn as you go. And sometimes people's advice is fantastic and it works. It's like, finally. These rat care videos I watch are amazing. The Pet Adventures girl helped me a lot. I'm sad she doesn't still make videos. But she helped me. Emiology helped me. Shadow the Rat. There's a bunch of them. Now, we don't have a huge open floor play place because we have a small condo. Now, when they come out to play, they either play right here between here and the table while we're here, or I have a blanket that I put on top of my bed and they run around from my blanket to the nightstands, and I have some toys upstairs that we use. They won't go near a wheel. I bought the big open saucer wheel. They won't go near it. There's a lot of things that our rats are kind of strange. Here's the sad thing. Where did we get our rats? For 2 weeks, I was pending to be approved on rat rescue, I need a sip of coffee. Rat rescue groups, because I remember there being rat rescues years ago. We get rat rescues or breeders or whatever. I didn't want to get my rats from the pet store because I know how depressed I am that I had got my betta fish from the pet store. We know what pet stores, how they treat their animals. Some don't. Some have people that go work at pet stores just to take care of an animal. I've worked at pet stores, and I can't talk about that because it was not good. But I've also worked for vets, and I used to be kennel lead. Anyway, so I was waiting, and I wasn't getting accepted into the rat rescues, and I didn't really can't think of any other way how to contact them. And we wanted rats because we were really having animal withdrawals, and with quarantine, you can't just go hang out with people just to hang out with their pets. So I broke down and got rats. And it changed everything. It changed my child. It changed me. We have some of that unconditional love back. And, yeah. But I had gone into this one pet store a couple of times. And I was kind of like, But they never had rats. So it didn't matter. I was just kind of looking how much it was going to cost. So I was processing. It was going to be about $250 total to get everything set up. Even doing some stuff through the Dollar Tree. Like, can you see this plastic thing I'm spinning? That's a shower hook from the Dollar Tree. They're always out of these. People do, but these will last about 6 months and then they break and crack. They can become sharp. So just, whenever you clean out your cage, like say every third, fourth time, I would maybe switch these out. We also use these these are from Staples. That's because I do arts and crafts. This is, I use these when I do smash booking. Now, but anything metal, like these are safety pins, it's going to get pee on it and they're going to rust. So you just got to pick your battles on that. But so, anyways, one night, my husband's out of town, my kid and I are bored. And because he's out of town, we can go goof off and come back later at night because we can be noisy. Because he has to get up and go to work early in the morning. So when he's home, we're all pretty much in bed by 5 o'clock. Because he has to get up early, So we were just goofing off and we went into the pet store, and I guess I used to just not pay attention the way I used to, but this particular night they had 2 male rats, and the rats were skinny and the rats were staring at the wall, and I feel like I'm gonna start crying talking about this. And if you know about rats, especially I think pink eyes are when they go like this, it's because they're trying to focus. But they were doing that to the wall. I mean, it was like that, the penguins, how you see the penguins just stare at the wall. And it just broke my heart. And they're in a tank. And what I know now is rats they don't thrive in tanks. That's what a lot of pet stores put them in tanks. And I said, we're going to rescue these babies. I know I have to pay for them. I know it's supporting the stupid pet store that does this, but I couldn't. And I had tears poured down my cheeks. And I was like, look, y'all, I killed a dragonfly one time with my car and I cried. I still talk about it. I think that I don't know. I don't like hitting butterflies. I just don't like when animals are hurt. So this was like, a couple of my friends were like, well, this sounds more like a rescue mission than supporting the pet store. So I don't know. But then this lady, I'm going to call her this crazy lady because I'm sorry, but this made me so mad. She is not happy that we're buying the rats because she has to deal with the rats. She puts on these heavy duty gloves. It's kind of like something you would see if somebody was handling like an eagle. Like talons. Like, look, they have sharp claws, but give me a break. And she picked them both up by their tails. And we were like, no, no, no. She's like, yes, this is how you pick them up. And I was like, oh my God. We just could not get our babies home fast enough. It was like they each had to go in their own box and they were stressed out and whatever. But by the next morning, you know, after we'd had the cage set up and everything, the next morning, you know, I was like, it's okay to go up to the cage and look. Now, these were pet store rats. They did not have any interaction. They claimed that they did because we almost brought them back, and I just couldn't do it. So I watched a lot of videos, and I worked really hard with them. My kid worked really hard. My kid was like, oh, Mom, they're your pets. I said, no, they're ours. You can do what I'm doing. Do not be afraid. It doesn't have to be only one person that can work with the rats. Everybody in the family can work with the rats. Just be careful when they're new not to stress them out, right? And that's going to be different for everybody because just like all animals, rats are different. Sorry. Sometimes they like to look out the window. I tried to make it where they can do what they want. They can come look out the window, or they can do this, or they can do that. There's a tree out there, there's squirrels, and they like to watch the squirrels. I swear, one squirrel will come right up here on this shelf right outside, and they'll look at each other. And I'm like, can you see that? Because they're pink eyes. But it seems like they can. But so, sorry about the sidetrack. So, we just took it very slow, very easy, and we would open the door. It was a different door. And we would just sit here. They were terrified. It was the saddest thing. They would hide in the corner and they would shake. They were terrified. We would do the little yogurt. We would do things on our fingers. Now, I normally don't like bothering them when they're sleeping. I don't know which one is which right now. It's not until they start playing around. Here, honey, I'm so sorry. But does he look scared? He just gritted his teeth at me. Maybe he's annoyed with me, maybe. I love my baby. Yes, boys have big testicles. They do have very big testicles. I love my baby. It's after we start playing with them for a minute is usually when we can tell. This is Nibbles. Ow, ow. This is Nibbles. There's my baby. I love them so much. And so look, even though I lined this with all this soft stuff, I don't know if you can see this. Look at what they did. Look at that. They like this plastic. They like laying on this plastic. I'm sorry. And that's Marco back there. You can't see him. Marco! He's like, listen, you crazy lady. It's bedtime. It's in the middle of the day. What are you doing? Okay, I'm going to leave them alone. But I get like, there's like a little monkey hanging up in the back corner I got at a garage sale. You know, one of the things about them, it's fun, garage sale. But that litter back there, that's that alfalfa stuff that they told me. I saw a video that said, oh, get this. Found out that could kill them. If my rats ate that could have killed them. So we use it as litter because they don't like the regular. Anyway, it's just trial and error, you know. And then when these boys move on, I also highly suggest buying them in more than one. I don't think I've ever had just one rat. But what are you doing? He's mad that I closed the window. You want to open the window? Come on. I know. He goes over there. Open the window. There you go. I'm sorry. He wants to look at the window. So the window's real bright. The window is really bright. I have speech impediment issues. Anyway, if you have any questions, you can ask me, but you can ask any of the other rat people. I have so much gratitude to all these rat video people. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I just watch because I'm amazed and I love all the stuff people do and I've learned so much. However, there's a lot of things they told us to do. My rats are like, yeah, no. Okay. So we had to learn it on our own. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of what a common dinner would look like. I'm going to put that on there. This is a travel pet carrier that opens in the front and the back. It has mesh windows in the front, the back, both sides. And they can even play in this if I bring it upstairs. Tonight for dinner, they're having spiral pasta because that's what I made for the week. They're having broccoli, peas, eggs, peaches, hulled hemp seeds, pine nuts, and hibiscus flowers. I know that sounds like a lot, but remember, they get most of their diet from these full meals put out in the evening, and they have all night long and part of the morning to eat them. They don't go near any of that processed pellets, rat food, dog food. I even tried cat food and they would not touch it. That might explain why they were skin and bones when we rescued them. Anyway, but now they're like this. Here is Marco boggling and bruxing, being loved on by his favorite human. And then this is Nibbles. This is Sir Edward Nibbles. And he's the misunderstood rat. Hey, Nibble, Nibble. You gonna knock the whole thing over? Come here, baby. Nibbles is the one that is still a scaredy cat. Marco is really warm and cuddly and loving and everything. And Nibbles is sweet too, but he is the high-strung, oops, forgot about the pencil. He's the high-strung anxiety one. They play together on the bed. I just happen to have him up right now. The other one is with my kid. Hey, my sweet baby. I know it. I know it. I know it. And you can train them to not get your wires. Ours don't chew our wires, do they? No, because did a good baby boy, huh? So I just let him kind of do his thing, you know? He's so sweet. Look how cute. He's a good baby boy. He's a good baby boy. Just stuff to chew on, you know. They love feathers. Okay, this video is just getting way too long, but they love feathers. These are turkey feathers. But you freeze them. We freeze them for a couple of days, so if there's any kind of like bugs or anything, it kills them. Yes, I'm talking about you. Because she's a good boy. Hi, Nibbles. Where are you going? He's going to go chew up my book. I let them chew on the books because they really enjoy it. You hear that? You're not in trouble. They don't swallow it. They just like chewing on it. Sometimes I'll put an old book in their cage and let them chew it up. You never know. You never know. It's a good baby. Anyway, look, I say this at the end of my videos because I mean it. Be blessed and be a blessing. And if they don't love you, I do. Rats are great pets. They are. Bye.